The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Are you ready to take a journey? Let's connect with the healers of the world. It's that time. It's time for the Language of Healing on W4WN Radio and Talk 4 TV. Now here's your host, Dr. Nicole Fortin.
Howdy doody, everybody. Welcome to another great episode on the Language of Healing on the Women for Women Network, W4WN.com. You can find us here every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Nicole, your host, and with us is our co-host.
You forgot who I was?
Sorry.
Maybe it's because you've already caused me childhood trauma with 3 times in 2 days saying howdy doody. Okay.
I know it's a theme now. Sorry, I just had to throw it in there.
Yeah, well, it's causing me childhood trauma. Okay, so now you're going to experience that trauma on your show.
Oh, what happened? Tell us about that.
Oh, well, when I was a little kid, I was like, I had a lot of freckles, just like howdy doody. And so kids would make fun of me and call me howdy doody. And, funny thing is they all disappeared. Probably the people too, but the freckles, it's like really weird. Like, so many people spend their whole life trying to get rid of their freckles. I never tried to get rid of them and they just disappeared. So the key, people, is, don't start doing these mishaps with throwing stuff on your face to get rid of your freckles. Just let nature take its course and you'll have a miracle happen and have no more freckles.
Yeah, that's really
Like how I
interesting.
did that? Look at how I took childhood trauma and turned it into a language of healing.
Well, that's what, this show's all about, really. That is what it is. Getting what you're faced with or what's in front of you and what do you make of it. You probably came to a place of acceptance around it. You didn't try to alter it or make it different. So they just kind of phased away. It's like,
Nah,
there's no resistance here.
Anybody that picked on me, I punched them out and I didn't have to hear it anymore. No, I'm
All
just
right.
kidding. I didn't do that.
Yeah. Maybe you did. You grew up maybe a little rough.
I don't think I did in that instance. In those instances, it was probably the other way around. It was probably the bullying on me because of the freckles. And like, it's so weird now. Okay, so now you have social media channels that people are actually using freckle filters. So it is weird how things evolve and change because, what was once made fun of or was a mishap becomes something not made fun of and maybe a miracle, and all you have to do is wait it out.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of about the mindset around that whole how you manage it, how you handle it. Do you let it run your life, or can you make something like the lemonade out of it, right? Yeah, because that's just life. Even it's like a age old tale that this is like one of the aspects of life that we all have to encounter with and learn how to manage. And some will fare better than others if we can develop some of these tools or these practices. Yeah, I think people with a lot of diversity and mishaps can attain more miracles in their lives.
I think the people that go through mishaps experience more miracles. I think you have to get through the mishaps to get to miracles. I think that's something that people miss because, they're so focused on not having mishaps that they miss the vision, and the vision is you need those mishaps to get to miracles. You need mistakes to make things right. You need miscommunication to communicate right. You need, I mean, like, you could go on and on. You need negative things to happen to create a positive mindset.
Yeah, of course. They wouldn't exist without the other. It's always the theme of life. So, yeah, mishaps and miracles. I mean, they're happening all the time. So I got a question for you, Pipe Man.
Before you ask this
What?
question, I just have to say something before I forget it.
Okay.
This more refers to the Adventures of Pipe Man show, but that's a perfect example. See, Rebels, a mishap, and I'm a miracle.
Oh, okay. Rebel. Hey, Rebel's also on The Adventures of Pipe Man. She's like the best part of the show. I can
Oh, you're so sweet.
definitely attest.
She's the best part of the show when she's not on.
And
Not true.
you see what we put up with?
Yeah, this is why Pipe Man has limited access on the Women for Women network.
Very much so.
That's why I love Rebel. She doesn't belong on the Women for Women network either.
Right, there you go. Well, we're just a bunch of mishaps in a miraculous world.
That's it.
Well,
We're the land of misfit toys. But what's your question now?
exactly. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, now, okay, this is the question. What
What's
do
the
you do?
question?
What?
For a Klondike
And this is
bar?
for everybody. This is for everybody,
For
okay?
a Klondike bar?
No, that's what would you do for a Klondike bar? We can talk
Oh,
about that
okay.
later. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
hey,
for
by
a
the way,
different show.
how's the Pipe Man's challenge going?
What's my challenge?
Was it you could stay silent for a week? It's
Well,
been a
I have
week
to
since
be
you've
on your
seen me last.
show, so you ruined it, okay? Thanks a lot.
No, that was from
But
last.
that was a mishap. The miracle
Okay.
is that now, because you blew it, I get to be on my show tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, there you go. You're welcome. Okay, so the question is, though, is what do you do when you get lost?
I pull up my GPS.
Okay, classic.
No, seriously, what do I do when I get lost? Well, it depends on how you're defining lost. If you're talking about directions gained somewhere, I am so not the typical male because I am the first one that will stop and ask for directions. And I bring that up because it is important because everybody jokes, oh, men don't ask for, well, at least wives and ex-wives that say that or something like that. But, the fact is you need to ask questions. You need to ask for directions to get where you want to be in life. Okay. And, like, you need the roadmap to get where you need to be. And yes, there's mishaps along that roadmap, but you have to have the roadmap that has the treasure at the end of the journey, and that treasure are the miracles. And so, as far as if you're talking about, which is probably what you're talking about, if I get lost in space or something like that, which, you know, I don't know that I get lost myself because I stop things before I get lost. That's the point. The point is, it is like having clarity and vision and focus allows you to not get lost. And having that GPS, that roadmap, I was joking about it, but it's kind of true. I talk about sometimes, okay, so like coaches, like everybody and their brother is a coach today. And I am a certified coach. I actually went through like a certification and training and experience and education. What a concept, because we live in this world now. Somebody can wake up in the morning and say they're identify that they're the president of the United States of America, and then they end up president, So, but the fact is that is part of it, though, is that's where it starts. Your language to yourself. If you believe you're going to get where you want to be, then you don't get lost. Usually people get lost because they're lost, and I don't say that in a negative way at all. It means that they're not really sure where they're going is the thing. They think they know, but then sometimes they don't. And we have a question here.
Mhm.
How can you determine if you are lost in life or if you're just going with what is where you are? Do you want to take that or shall I?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, well, you were making such good points there because but with that question, I think that there is a bit of a difference and it's all about your intention. If you know what you want or you know what you're going after or you have that vision, then it's a lot easier to mm, stop and smell the roses along the way. I would describe that as is it's maybe not lost and there's also a sense of exploration that's valuable in this journey of life because I talk about the 5 steps, okay, 5 steps to getting miracles. And the first step is knowing what you want. And that will squander many people's, action steps towards their dreams because they might not know what they want.
That's
So I
absolutely
think
true.
that, yeah, so I think that you get stopped right on step one. It's going to be a bit of a battle. So when are you lost or are you like exploring? I think being curious, and that's where the mindset, um,
Well, I'll
being,
add to that too
yeah,
is okay. So, are you really lost or are you lost based on where you think you should be and you actually are where you should be? And there's a philosophical question I think you have to ask yourself. Let's put that comment back on the screen
yeah,
because, I think that's really something that, people may not know the difference between the two. Okay. Uh,
right.
so the fact of the matter is so many people are so focused that they have to be at this certain place that maybe they miss the miracles of life of the places they need to be. I mean, perfect example, you take traveling. I'm a spontaneous traveler, which means that when things go awry, which they always do in traveling, I don't care. I'm prepared for it. See, that's the thing. People think, oh, spontaneous. No, I'm prepared for things to go wrong and to be okay with it. I'm prepared for mishaps and I'm okay with it. Whereas people that plan every bit of their traveling, whenever something goes wrong, it's all ruined. Like, i- you know, but does it have to be ruined? Are you really lost? Or maybe you
Mhm,
just got to go a different way. Maybe you have to
mhm,
figure something different out. Maybe you have to be able to change gears. And so, you know, I think in answering that question, I think it's something for deep self evaluation as well. Rebel, put
mhm.
that back up on the screen so we can see it again and all the viewers can see it. For the people that just tuned in that have no clue what we're even talking about, why we're doing this, answering a question that they don't see. But so, how can you determine? It's like deep self evaluation. Are you lost in life because that's an easy term to say and people like very often focus on that negative side, and which is absolutely normal because your subconscious mind accepts negative thoughts much easier than positive thoughts. Okay? That's why in order to be a positive, motivational, optimistic person, it's work every single day. It's not work to be negative every single day. However, it's tiring and it's as if you worked. Okay. So I think you really need to sit there and think, where is it you want to be? And really evaluate that, not where other people want you to be, not where you think you want to be. If you had your option without worrying about anybody else's input, where do you want to be? And then you might
Mm,
find out you're not lost at all. You're just exactly where you want to be. It's other people that think you're lost because they want you to be where they want you to be.
mm. Yay. Well said. Love it. Mr.
Whoa.
Inspirational Pipe Man. Yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, it
Where did that
reminds me,
come
whoa,
from?
whoa. This is yeah, all of your training, your mastery and practice. I mean, obviously you're skilled enough at this, you have enough experience because you've encountered many mishaps and miracles along the way. Okay, so you
A
know
lot
that
more
saying.
mishaps, a lot more mishaps
Yeah.
than miracles, I can tell you,
Okay,
which
so
is true.
okay,
You have to fail you have to
yeah.
fail at least 7 times before you succeed, at least. And most people fail way more than that. You have, listen,
I've heard
look at,
that's the 7-Eleven rule, isn't it? Well, it's
uh,
kind of similar. Like
that's
people have
why
to.
whenever that happens, I go get a Slurpee.
There you go. Just brain freeze it all away. Okay, that's
Exactly.
the answer.
But you
The
think of
answer.
somebody like Albert Einstein, he had 100 failures before he came up with the light bulb.
Yeah.
So,
No, because like
Yeah,
being the mishaps and failures are like not really. I mean, I remember, okay, life's curveballs. Like I grew up, my grandfather taught me baseball from a young age, all these sports analogies. My dad taught me how to fall, before I could ever skate. It was like,
well,
this is lesson
that's
number one,
because you
like
live in
fall.
Canada. That's because you
Yeah,
live
yeah.
in
Okay.
Canada, okay?
Yeah.
Because, you
Well, there
know,
you go. That's a mishap that you got to turn into a miracle. You have to know um, how to handle the elements, how to make the best of the day with
so
what you
how do
got.
you still keep falling skateboard and ice skating then?
Oh, learning never stops.
Oh, so
Learning and growing never ends.
are you a good ice skater?
Sure.
I didn't
I could
believe that
I
for
could
a second. That
I could
answer,
pirouette
I was like,
pirouette through
uh,
life.
you know, yeah, exactly. I think you're skating on thin ice, but there's no ice there. Maybe that's what it is. But no, you're a Canadian. You should be an expert skater. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if you're
know.
not, you need to move out of Canada.
Okay, here's a little tidbit I'm just going to interject here, because as part of this conversation is around the fear of missing out, okay, and the
Mm.
FOMO. And I think part of one of the best blessings and benefits of being Canadian is that you're so far north that you can see these amazing northern lights. And guess where I was when all of these amazing northern lights were visible to all of Canada,
Well,
with like no
you were at
effort?
Welcome to Rockville.
Yes, I was deep south, and I was
I
enjoying.
I call that God has a sense of humor.
Yeah, okay, and then it gets even better because um on my way I missed my connecting flight back into Canada because of some weather in Orlando.
Well, you
Okay? It
better
was
ice skate better next time.
yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the thing. Maybe it'll be swimming or surfing.
Okay. So go
However,
on. Go
I
on.
missed the flight. Missed the flight. get get an overnight flight then like 8 hours later, and I got bumped up to business class, all like, okay, I can go to the lounge, I can eat my face off, I can get access to whatever I want, right? Okay, a miracle. Yay. And I was so comfy in this big old seat that, and I usually love the window seat when I'm traveling. I love looking out, and I love
I
like the bigger
used to be
perspective.
a total window seat person. Now I'm
Yeah.
an aisle seat because I hate being like stuck there in the window. And then if you have to go somewhere, it's like you have to annoy somebody or they're sleeping, and it's like
Yeah.
so in the leg room.
It's
Because
either
I can trip the flight attendant as she's walking by or he's walking by. You know.
That's why they put you in the window seat. They're like, this guy's trouble. Just get him, just put him back in the corner.
By the way, I just learned something last year about airline seats. Would you like to know what it is?
Yes.
Okay. So the person that sits, this is going to squash a lot of problems. The person that sits in the middle seat has priority to both armrests. So there's an
That
argument
sounds
of who
fair.
gets the armrest. Well, because you're screwed and you have a middle seat, you get the two armrests. It is
See,
true. If you
that's
Google it,
great.
it's an absolute fact. You Google it, that's an absolute fact.
Okay. I believe you. And I think that makes sense because that's the natural mishap with the miracle, like the blessing and the curse of everything. Every unfortunate event has a virtue. And that's just lighthearted. I mean, it can get a little less fun. Um, Finishing my story though, I'm in
Yeah.
the aisle seat of this like nice big. I'm tired. I've been traveling all day and had a
I thought you
long
wanted to be
weekend.
in the window. Why are
I
you in the
did, and
aisle?
I yeah, because that's where I got put. Okay, but usually I would be like sneaking over, trying to like peek out. Okay, anyway, I missed the most amazing Northern Lights display in the middle of the air, and everyone was talking about it afterwards. And I was like, wow, I had this awesome opportunity to see it all, and
That's not fear of
I
missing out.
slept
That's
away.
just you just missed out. That's all.
No, okay, yeah, okay, a little bit different, but um, but still, because I have a big FOMO. I think that I'm always wanting to say yes to everything. I want to seize life to like live it to its fullest, right? And this is something that I've had to learn to manage for myself because when you really want something or because there's a difference then of just like wandering around to collect and gather information. And I think that's totally fine, right? So you're not missing out. You want to be curious and open to many different aspects. But when you really want to get clear on something and achieve a goal or a dream, it's really important to narrow that down. And so um,
It's kind of
this has
like
been a saying, yeah.
I
Well,
was
what do you
just gonna
got?
say it's kind of like collecting shells on the beach because what happens? People walk along the
Just
beach, they collect all the same shells, they have their thing filled up, and then they come across the coolest shell there is, and they have no room for it because they filled their
yeah,
bucket with all the other shells. And
exactly,
as long
exactly.
it makes it sound weird to some people, but that is an example of missing out. You're
Yeah.
so busy collecting all these shells that aren't unique, they're exactly the same, that you run out of room for the miracles.
Yeah. Well, I have this very similar experience when I was in Australia. I wanted to see a kangaroo because, all right, yeah, then put the shell in your pocket. All right, I
But
like
don't
this.
put a
This guy's
kangaroo
resourceful. This
yeah,
guy's
and
resourceful.
don't put a kangaroo in your pocket. But you know what? He was right.
No,
See? I love that response though, because that's what some people wouldn't think of right there. Like he thought of the positive, what you can do. People are so focused on the problem, they don't realize what the solution is, nor do they see it. It could smack them in the face. And that's the exact thing. There was a problem, came up with a very solid solution, except if you have no pockets because you have board shorts on. Now
yeah.
what? Then you just stick it in your
You can
board
still,
shorts.
yeah, exactly. There's still other ways. Yeah,
So go
other,
on with what you were saying before I so rudely
well,
interrupted you.
no, no, no. It's not rude. It's very on point. So, and thank you for the comments. I love that. Just keep them coming. Love the engagement. Um, yeah,
Keep
I
'em
was in
coming.
Australia and you're distracting me, my man. Okay, so I really wanted to see a kangaroo and a live one, and I say that because I don't know if you've been to Australia, but when I saw more roadkill kangaroos than live ones, and I
Oh,
thought this was a little bit disappointing. But I mean, you're in the outback, that's how you roll. And then finally I came across these wild kangaroos and I stopped the car and I just like was in such amazement because I'd never really seen I've seen a a wildebeest, I think, in New Zealand. It's like a little mini kangaroo. They're pretty cute. Um, but anyway, I had traveled so much that I had zero storage space in my phone and I couldn't capture this
well, you gotta
kangaroo
throw one of
moment.
the shells out of your phone so you have room for another
Exactly.
shell.
Exactly. Well, and had I had, well, no, here's my pocket is just like the snapshot, the original camera is like, okay, I'm never gonna forget this moment because I'm just present here. Okay, we got another one carried in your hand, or let one of the other shells go. And this is the point. I think this is a big important thing that yes, in a grander scheme, it's like saying yes to yourself sometimes means saying no to others. And
Yeah,
um,
I'm trying to learn that one.
yeah, yeah, right. And like this ties in for me with the FOMO because I'll, I don't want to miss out. I want to like seize every minute and every opportunity. And then at the end of the day, it's like, what's left for me? Or what have I done that nourishes my dream or my desire? And even listening to that can be such a little weak voice that is easy to push aside. But the more you clean and clear out the clutter, that gets stronger and stronger. And another thing that's really helped support me because I'm I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but I'm a chronic people pleaser and a bit of a self-forgetter. You know, I'm like the peacekeeper and want to make everything, you know, happy-go-lucky. Even though I can handle the darkness, right? Like I can navigate the two, but ultimately I want it to be all optimistic and pleasant experience in life because there's so much bitterness in life that I just want to experience the sweetness. Anyways, um, but something that's really helped me is saying to myself, like, yes doesn't mean always, and no doesn't mean never. So you can navigate through some of these things, and that's key to knowing what you want. And then,
That's
like,
a
that's the
really
first
good
step.
one. That's a
That's the
really
first
good
step.
one, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that.
You like that? You like that? Yeah.
I do. I do. Like,
It's like it opened me up. It freed energy for me.
it's simple. See,
Yeah,
that's the key. Simple, you know?
yeah, right.
So
And it
that's
allows
number one.
you, so yeah, and like back to our comment about, oh, it's like, yeah, just put it in your pocket. Like when you actually step back and not get so focused on the problem, you can see other possibilities. And this is a key component or principle in a martial arts practice is when you're in center position, you have, and you're ground, so that's present moment now. You can see like 8 other directions that you can go instead of being stuck in one aspect. So that's where one mishap happens means that you can recenter, reposition, take a look at where you're at, like maybe also look at where you've been, where you want to go, where you're at now. In that center position, you have unlimited potential. And this is what like is a key to tapping into more miracles when you can get that. So that's step 1. Know what
Step
you want.
two. Step
Step
two.
2, ask for what you want. So this is where you get lost and you stop and you ask for directions. Okay, I want to go here. Let's see who's around. Asking for help is also where a lot of people have a glitch in the system because we don't know how to ask. And our communication styles are often, we're not really taught assertive communication or assertive behavior. Or I mean,
What have I said to you a couple times? Just say it. That's what I'll say. Just say it.
just say it. Yeah,
Like people are so
because we have,
busy trying to figure out how to say something. Just say it.
yeah, just say it. Because I think that there's these passive aggressive, passive aggressive forms of communication that we're maybe used to operating at. And then with words, I don't know, I get stuck with that because it's like, how do I word this so it's not offensive or it doesn't like
Well,
I get
and
what I want across, but it doesn't
words are
offend
only what
somebody.
sorry, words are
No, go
only the
ahead.
meaning you give to it, and that's why I did a post today on Facebook. It kind of annoys me that people nowadays are so hateful about certain words or that people want to identify as certain words. Like, what do you give a crap? It doesn't affect your life in any way. And why do you put so much meaning to it? Like, if I want to identify as a, mosquito, like, who cares? Or whatever. It doesn't matter. People are using words nowadays to have much more negative meaning than they ever did. Like there were certain words that are offensive today that when I was growing up, like you wouldn't know it was offensive because you weren't putting the same meaning to it that people think you're putting to it.
Yeah, totally. The meaning of words, there's a lot to explore there. That's a gem. And I believe a virtue of humanity, if we can tap into that, is truly listening to what other people mean by that, because that's a common miscommunication, malfunction, user error.
The
I think.
problem with that is you never really know what people mean when they say things.
Yeah.
Well,
So
because you're putting your
do we
meaning
ask
to
them?
it and they have their meaning.
Yeah,
So,
is there room to ask them?
yeah,
Rebel, have you
I
ever
agree with
had
that.
a experience like that,
Yes,
or any experience with your mishaps and miracles?
most definitely. I mean, life is a bunch of mishaps and miracles.
How about all these times I didn't understand what you were saying in Canadian? And I'm like, can you kind of tell me what that means? And that's what that means. It's like sometimes in communication between people, no matter what the reason is, one is saying one thing, one's hearing the other. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with asking straight out, like, what do you mean
What do
by
you
that?
mean?
So
Yeah.
instead of responding, most people react
Hmm.
instead of knowing what they're reacting to. How many times does it happen on social media? You make a posting and everybody assumes the posting's about something that it's not even about because they're putting their own meaning to it, you know? And,
That's
and
the
I had
problem with
that.
that.
Yeah, I had that today. I had that somebody just started jumping on. I'm like, that isn't even what I was meaning by that, but thank you. Thank you for like jumping on with your own meaning and turning something into a negative that was a positive because of your own meaning that you put to it.
See, you need to, not only do you need to ask, do you understand what I meant by that? You have to ask somebody, how did you understand what I said? So they can tell you back, and you have to do it like that. How did you understand what I just said? And they have to be honest when they give that answer, because if you're not honest with that answer, you're not going to get anywhere.
Mm. Wow,
Taking
Rebel.
notes, Rebel.
And in all these years, I never knew you had anything like that. I'm impressed.
Gee, thanks, Pikeman.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Rebel's a great person, no matter what I say.
Yeah, we know.
I'm going to clip that out of this recording and use it later.
That could be a great reel, actually. That's a great reel. Let's run that as a reel.
There you go. Yes, Rebel is a great person, no matter what Pipe Man says.
Yeah, see, there's two great
Yeah.
reels from this show. Rebel's a great person, no matter what I say, and whatever I said in the beginning about Nicole and how she looked on screen, and where's the real Nicole?
The filter thing?
Yeah. Just raw awesomeness, pure awesomeness. That's it. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Couldn't live without it.
No, that's true. Nor could I. And that's the miracle, in all the mishaps. Because it's like rich, Chinese medicine. I can't help but not go to that because it's what I do, and it's like I live and breathe this stuff. But the elements, the metal element is represented by the mountains, and it's like, when you dig, you can excavate in the mountains for gold and for like, precious minerals. It's like be high altitude, you have to pack your travel bag very light to make it up that mountain. Like you can't be bringing a ton of baggage up the mountain with you. You have to be very resourceful in what you're packing in and out, and being mindful of what effect or impact you're having on this journey.
Did you
And
just say
so
when you're hiking a mountain, you have to have like a certain thing, and you must have your In-N-Out burger with you?
no.
That's an essential. I think that's an essential for California mountain hikers. You need to have an In-N-Out burger and a Slurpee.
I can think of other like sources of fuel than that. I've never had an In-N-Out burger.
Oh, well, then you have definite FOMO, man.
I am FOMOing hard, actually. You know what I got to try in Florida though? Was that McChicken thing, or that
McChicken.
I'm sorry.
the Chick-fil-A
Oh,
Chick-fil-A
Chick-fil-A.
sauce.
McChicken is McDonald's. Okay, you can't.
Okay.
Why does everybody call everything at every fast food place a Mick? They're McDonald's stuff.
It's
The
childhood trauma.
the
Just kidding.
McFrog,
Yeah.
like the McFrog and the McCat and the well.
Sorry, where are you eating?
Well, you should know what are in chicken McNuggets.
Most
Okay.
places in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like terrified right now.
You should know what you're eating when you eat a McNugget. Okay. Like, have you ever
So it's
peeled
not
it
chicken.
apart? Does that look like chicken to you? Have you ever peeled it apart? Does it look like chicken to you?
It's like the
Like,
hot dog of chickens.
It's like the mishap of gastrointestinal issues
It's like a picture of your insides.
with no miracle in sight. Although
Well, wait a minute. Now, if you like something and you didn't quite know what it was, would you stop eating it because you found out what it was?
a lot of people would actually.
But that's just
Yeah, this
because
is like
now you know.
Okay,
it's like
so let me
ignoring the
ask
red
you,
flags.
Rebel.
Ignoring
Let
the red
me
flags.
let me ask you a question, Rebel. Okay. And so this is a situation that happened to my son for real. Okay. And he was doing a tour in South Korea and he was at a restaurant and he ordered a meal. And in Korea, there's two different dishes that are almost exact same name except one letter. The difference between that one letter is whether you're eating cow or you're eating dog. So let's just say, Rebel, that you ordered the wrong one, and it turns out you are in the middle of eating it, and you find out you just ate Fido or Spot
Now,
or whatever.
see, all right, a pet for Now, who would have thought dogs could taste like that? Anyone who's had Chinese food. And sorry, so,
No, those are cats. Okay.
Or rats.
anyway, so you like eating these things. But there's some things you might slide down. It's like I said I would never eat deer. I said on purpose of I'm not eating, Bambi's mom. So I choose not to have deer or rabbit or certain things like that. Most of the time, okay, a rabbit could be considered a pet, but other things, but I'll eat alligator. No problem.
Will you eat?
So
Will you eat elk?
I don't think so. I've never had it. I didn't think I'd eat bison either, but I eat that. So,
Well,
but
exactly. You wouldn't know you liked ice cream until you tasted it either.
but
Rebel, we
there's
need
some
to get
things
you up to Canada for fondue. All
you
right.
stand on purpose, though. I don't want to eat a dog. I don't think I could come to grips with eating a dog or knowingly eating a cat or a horse for that matter.
And it's like a big thing in Korea that they don't dogs to them are not pets, they're food. And that is something. Like look all around the world, everybody has different things. Like if you went to India, the idea of eating a cow would be worse than anything you just mentioned.
I think you
So
can go to jail for that there.
well, see
Yeah,
that's
or
the point.
definitely for hitting one.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
even like hitting on the road.
Our beliefs are based on what were put in us, not based on whatever it was. Because so, like as an example, as much as I would never want to eat one, our belief of not eating a dog is because of our lifestyle with dogs. But then you go somewhere else where it's not the same, and they're not the same type of dogs or what have you, or there's so many different variables in the world that some people deem them as mishaps and others deem them as miracles. We here in the United States, we go cow tipping. That's a mishap that has a miracle of psilocybin. In India, the cows are just a miracle just in and of themselves.
We
There you
are
go.
heathens in America.
What?
Yeah.
We are just heathens in America. Why would someone
Especially
want to
in
go?
Louisiana.
No, we don't
Especially
tip
in
cows.
Louisiana. Especially in Louisiana. Okay. You guys do some of the weirdest crap in our whole country.
Wow.
I resemble that remark. Thank you.
You do, and you do resemble those those weird things. Exactly. What's number? Okay,
I have no
Nicole. What's
idea what you're
number
talking
two?
about.
What's
Okay.
number two?
Okay. Okay.
Or did
Number two, we did go over number two. It was asking
yes?
for what you want. Okay, but hold on, pause. I know we're cutting it close to
I
time
want
here,
some
which is
Chick-fil-A.
unfortunate.
I want
Yeah, I know
Chick-fil-A.
now. Okay.
All right, go to number
So,
3.
okay, but okay, what okay, number 3. And then I have another question for the audience. All right?
Ooh.
Um
Can I answer too?
okay, so yeah, well, maybe.
Okay.
Number 1 is knowing what you want. Okay? Knowing what you want. Number 2, asking for what you want. All right? Get your pen and paper here. knowing what you want, asking for what you want. And then number 3, showing up. You got to show up for what you want
Yeah.
and what you've asked for. Yeah, and this is kind of like seizing the opportunity. It's when you're, like we were saying, Pipe Man, when you're traveling, you're prepared for when things go awry because you're showing up. I mean, even just knowing what you want. Oh, I'm going to be traveling here, asking for what you want. It's like, well, okay, well, maybe I want dinner right now. Maybe I'm hungry. Like, okay, let's go find some food. And then, you're showing up and you're just meeting life as it arises, but you've asked for it. Number 4 is keeping your word. So that means, again, you will be tried and tested. Is that what you really want? Is that what
Are
you really want?
are you taking
Here's a
notes, Rebel?
distraction. Yes. Here's a distraction to throw you off. I think that's where, going back to that question initially, was, is it like lost, or is it where you need to be? Well, that depends on what it is that you want. And like an easy way to decipher that, knowing that everything is not, like, it's temporary. You can change your mind, and that's okay. You don't have to be fully committed to it. Like, things do evolve. It's all right. Because, like what we were talking about, that no choice is a choice as well. So just choose something that supports it. But looking at it, does this support my intention? Does this get me closer? Does this move me towards what I want, or does it move me away from what I want? Like, oh, I got a big
That's
exam in the
important.
morning, Yeah, yeah.
That
And like
that's
that's the key. Yeah. And that's how
so
you keep your word. So it's like you're committed through your actions, your words, your mindset, your and even asking for what you want can help bring it into your life. We tend to keep things, well, not
well, you
everybody,
have
but
to ask
sometimes
because you
we,
gotta throw it out there in the universe. Like, if you don't
yeah,
ask, you don't
yeah.
get.
But sometimes you
That's
ask, and we have poor or bad experiences. Like, we have some, maybe that's part of the trauma. It's like not getting what you want when you were younger, not even having like your needs met. That's a thing, that shows up
and
later.
sometimes you're not gonna get what you want. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
don't
But
ask for what you want, but just
you
because
might
you
just get
ask
what
doesn't
you need.
mean you're gonna get it. That too. Are you in a
Yeah.
band? Are you
No.
in a band? That sounds
I
oddly
just
familiar.
I just think in like random lyrics. These are like things that have formed me, formed my mind. Like music. Oh, I met this really cool guy at Rockville, and he was talking about doing some work with radio and podcasting, and he had this idea of like the lyric that changed my life. I'm like, yes, that's so amazing. Um, anyway, tangent.
Not a
Uh,
tangent. Music is a great language, and it
yeah.
does, you know, music also can describe the mishaps and miracles of your life as a therapeutic
So
solution.
I believe that, so like even just getting ready for this show time. Okay, by the way, also another mishap is that I'm a techie. I don't know what's wrong with my technology skills, but even all my show notes, all the things that I was, gathering for the week, just gone. Like, I open up the document and it's just a blank document, like nothing saved. I can't get into my email. Like, oh, well, I guess we're just going raw. It's raw authentic.
Can I give you some advice for next time?
Don't do show notes.
No,
What?
that's not my advice. Click save next time.
Well, I'm pretty sure I did that. It's because of this
Well,
cloud. It's because I thought, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna
you need
waste
to
time
call
talking about
Apple
that right now.
because there all your stuff's probably in the cloud somewhere, and you just don't know how to get to the cloud because you didn't ask directions.
Yeah, it's true. I'm lost. I'm lost, and I
You
need to
need to
stop and
throw
ask for
some of
help.
those shells out of your hand so that you can find your cloud.
Seriously. Like, the digital clutter is like a real thing too. This, like,
It
okay.
is actually.
Yeah.
I just had recently in my Outlook, it gave me multiple warnings that I was almost at maximum capacity, which is virtually uh, hard to do. Like,
That's amazing.
have you ever heard of that? But it's
Well,
because I store everything.
other than my pictures, yes, no, but
Yeah, because I store everything and very organized, and it's like I go into one of the folders. Oh, there's only like 40,000 emails in there, but I need all of them because just in case. But so what do I delete? And that's another thing too. Okay, that changes mishaps to miracles. Sometimes you gotta throw some things off of your cart to make room for the miracles.
yeah,
And those
exactly.
things that you think are miracles are actually being mishaps getting in the way of achieving your miracles.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so,
So
so
then,
where are we? Number 5?
yeah, we're on number 5,
Let's do
which
number
is la
5.
pièce de résistance. Okay, it's like the cream of the crop here, and
Oh, I
that's
thought you were saying something else to me. I was starting to get insulted and mad, but so I'm glad you explained it. Go ahead.
okay.
Say it again in French.
No, we're moving on.
Say it again. No, seriously, I like it.
La pièce de résistance.
Yeah, see? Do
Yeah,
you hear
okay.
what I hear, Rebel?
Let her get to number 5.
Okay, go to number 5. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it on my show
front of me.
tomorrow what I heard.
Rebel,
Remind me,
like,
Rebel.
what do I do about this dude?
Okay, number
It's like
5.
this is my circus. You're my clown. Okay, here we go. Number 5.
It's your
Is
world. I'm just living in it.
yeah. But thank you for your contributions.
I'm
That's
like a
true.
virus.
Yeah. You know what? You're the mishap that became a miracle. And number 5.
Don't let him distract you. Number 5.
Okay. Number 5 is having a natural attitude of gratitude along the way. So this is where you stay open and curious and like humble, just keeping connected with what it is that you want and being thankful for all of the experiences that you're encountering in life, because no matter what you're meeting, the events, the incidents, and the accidents of life are what shape us, and it is your primo opportunity for growth and evolution and expansion, and that is the meaning of life. According to me, but in my beliefs, is that the more we explore our inner universe and explore our outer world, that we can truly play with life and live life as an adventure. So know
Who's
what you
that
want,
other
ask for
dude
it,
that
show up, keep your word, natural attitude of gratitude.
who
Go for
else
it.
was it that talked about the meaning of life?
Winnie the Pooh?
No. Do you know, Rebel?
I like her answer. Winnie the Pooh.
Well, what's your answer?
Wait, what's the question?
Who else talked about the meaning of life?
Oz from Wizard of Oz.
No.
I like that answer too.
Think of a movie.
We have 2 minutes left, so you either tell us or we're not gonna know.
I'm not telling. You
No, it's a
gotta figure it out.
cliffhanger.
You
Cliffhanger.
gotta figure
Okay.
it out. The
Bonus
meaning of
points.
life.
Bonus points to whoever chimes in with the answer. So, okay, so then I'm going to leave you with one question, because I didn't get to do this question. It's fun because, okay, we looked at what do you do when you get lost, but now you want it?
I want your question.
Now I want you to consider what would be a dream vacation? What would be a dream vacation? And we can leave you.
I'm kind of envisioning 2 minutes from now.
When you're out of here, off the air, with awesome Revel and you're missing
Actually,
out.
being on
Missing
the air
out.
is a vacation. Being on an air,
There you
on the
go.
air, I gotta go back to real life in about a minute.
Yeah, I looked up the etymology of vacation because I love like root words of that, and it's like vacant, it's space, it's freedom, it's like to be unobstructed, and that's where miracles can come in. It's like being free of all your burdens and open to receiving what it is that you want. And I encourage you to explore what it is that you want if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can find me at Nicole Fortin Healing or at the Language of Healing. Join us again next Tuesday at 2 p.m. What else? Pipe Man, W4WN.
Well, the meaning of life might have something to do with, are you ready? The Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah, Monty Python. Okay. The Knights Who Say Knee.
Oh,
I'm with
good.
ya.
You get bonus
with ya.
points. See, you got the
Ding, ding,
bonus on your own
ding.
show.
I'm the winner.
Tell everybody how they can reach out to you, connect you in socials, how they can reach out off the show for coaching advice, information, what have you.
Yes. For now, you can find me on Instagram or through YouTube here, Facebook at the Language of Healing or Nicole Fortin Healing. Maybe Rebel, can you slide that across the screen one last time before we're out of here? Thank you very much, Rebel.
Slide it across the screen, please.
Slide in there. All right. Thank you so much, Rebel, for being my support staff here. I need you.
You're welcome. You needed protection from him.
Yeah. Who let this guy in?
Okay. I know, right?
Okay, we'll see you next week.
Out of here. See you next week, Nicole. This was a great show, and all our listeners are great. All our viewers are great, and your programs are great, and everything you do talk about off the air and do off the air, people have to connect with you so that they can get those miracles out of life, because you are a miracle maker. I'm the mishap, you're the miracle maker.
There we go.
See you next week.
See you next time.
Wow, what a show today. And the journey does not stop here. Come travel the world with Nicole every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time as together we become more fluent in the language of healing on W4WN Radio and Talk4 TV. See you next week.